Hello everyone, Dark Blaine here, and I'm not playing AFK Arena today. Instead, I am going to look at some team formations. By request, I decided I was going to just show some team formations in this video. So let's get on with the video. Okay, so this is Artie's guide to endgame PvE formations. This is mostly for campaign. So these are just some team formations that Artie has put together that you can use to go through the campaign. So the first one I'm going to start off with right here is the Thorn Cheese. Purpose of this team is to utilize Thorn's signature item along with his ultimate ability, Retaliation. To do so by manipulating all enemies positioned to surround Thorn and have all enemies attacking Thorn so he can counter with sufficient damage. So this one is about Thorn here. As you can see, all of these team formations here will have an optimal investment, multi-fight, and budget here. So the optimal investment is really what you should be looking for. As you can see, this one has Taline and Thorn in the front row, then Lyca, Lorzen, and Kelthur. Yeah, healing with the Taline, and then Thorn there, Lyca for the haste to get Thorn ult, Lorzen for his linking ability, and Kelthur to help gather the enemies around Thorn there. The multi-fight, this one has Flora in it. Flora and Odin here. And in the budget, you have Rowan, Nara, and Pharrell as well. So yeah, this one, I personally cannot get the Thorn Cheese to work. I don't really have Thorn's plus 30 signature item, which would allow Thorn to retaliate 2 times without dying. So yeah, that would definitely make the Thorn Cheese a lot easier for Thorn, but I don't have that. I don't generally use the Thorn Cheese that often. I've only maybe been able to get it to work a handful of times, but that's about it. Next one over here is the Lucretia Cheese. The purpose of this team is to utilize Lucretia's signature item by killing her own teammates while providing small benefits to Lucretia. Through doing so, any hero can be subbed in for success based on game mechanics knowledge. So the optimal investment here has Brutus, Sophia, Iron, and Skryeth here to bring everybody towards the allied side here. The multi-fight, you have Alna, Lorzen, Lyca, and Scrag. In the budget team, these two appeared. You can place any level 1 Hypogean hero, and then Brutus and Lorzen in the background. So yeah, you can. I've seen people use full teams of just level 1 heroes, and because Lucretia is so good, she was able to take down the entire team. So yeah, it's just based on all your teammates dying pretty much to get Lucretia to buff. Yeah, that's pretty much the Lucretia Cheese. And then the Gwyneth comp right here. Utilizing the innate power that stems from Gwyneth, you often want to utilize this comp into a stationary backline so Gwyneth can hit 3 enemies at once with her flaming and lightning arrows. It's the most optimal light bearer-based team. So you've probably seen Arthur, Gwyneth, and Rose comps. And this optimal investment has Alna and Frel in it as well. In the multi-fight, you have Estrilda, Nemisu, with Gwyneth and Rose and Arthur. And then the budget here, this one does not have Arthur, but instead Brutus and Lorzen. So yeah, this team comp works until probably up to around chapter 36, and then it starts falling off. Gwyneth starts falling off at around chapter 36. Her damage isn't really as great as it once used to be. But yeah, I don't really use Rose. I use with this one, I use Arthur, Gwyneth, and I put Joker, Prince, and Queen in there. 3 other dimensionals. That's what I usually do for the Gwyneth comp. And one down here, you have Screg Invade. The goal of this composition is to utilize the immense power of Screg's furniture effects while simultaneously using high synergy heroes to punish low survivability backlines. This team is excellent due to its lack of other cores it utilizes. So the optimal investment is all Maulers here. This is the one of the main Mauler comps. Screg, Citrana, Titus, Namisu, and Kren here. So yeah, Kren works well with Screg to put when Screg pushes everyone to the back line, and also Titus when Titus pushes people to the back line. Kren makes bombs on the back line of the enemy side, and when they can explode on the enemies, doing damage there. For this multi-fight, this one has Athalia and Tassie in it. Yeah, Athalia pushing everyone around makes it pretty useful there. In the budget here, you have Gorvo and Saurus here. Yeah, Gorvo can jump around, push enemies around, and yeah, Saurus does quite a bit of damage there as well. So yeah, that's the Screg Invade there. And here's Classic Disrupt with Pharrell. One of the most consistent and flexible of any endgame comp, usually utilizing the CC abilities of tanks such as Mezoth and Orthos, along with backlines involving Pharrell, Nara, and many other high crowd control heroes. So CC pretty much just means crowd control. When you hear someone say CC, they're usually referring to crowd control, which is a very strong aspect of the game. The optimal investment of this one is Mezoth, Orthos, Pharrell, Zafrael, and Tassie. Multi-fight here. Thorin and Odin as two new heroes here. And the budget comp here, Thorin, Wukong, and also Tassie here. This one just pretty much having Wukong here. Yep, the Classic Disrupt is pretty much CC. That's the main purpose of that comp there. And then we have the Energy Cycle, also known as the God comp. This one's also known as the God comp usually. A classic PvP staple, this team is used rampantly in endgame campaign and King's Tower through the high sustain of Taylene mixed with the Energy Cycle core of Aziz, Rowan, and Twins. This team is most people's ideal formation due to high flexibility and impact. So the optimal investment here, Taylene, Rowan, Twins, Mahira, and Aziz. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you have the Twins there for haste, Mahira there for crowd control, Aziz for to stop the enemies from ulting, Rowan for stuns, and Taylene for the healing there and damage as well. The multi-fight here, you have Saurus and Tassie. I pretty much use this multi-fight team, except I don't have Aziz to Ascended yet, so I replace Aziz with Taylene. So yeah, that's pretty much the only change I have with with the Energy Cycle team. And the budget one here has Pharrell in it. You can use Pharrell instead of Aziz for that energy. So yeah, that's the Energy Cycle there. Next up, we have the Isold Cheese here. This team was risen sharply since Furniture was released, and Isold is now debatably a top 5 carry in the game. His entire goal is two things: ult and kill an enemy. These two things allow him to stack damage, mitigation, and eventually damage output. So yeah, once the Furniture was released, Isold definitely became a priority in the Furniture. With his 3 of 9, it provides attack frequency every time he loses. I believe 1%. I believe it was 1% attack frequency every time he loses 3% health, which is a lot since Isold definitely loses quite a bit of health. And with his plus 30 signature item, when he ults, he can't be crowd controlled. So with his plus 30 signature item and his 3 of 9, Isold can definitely carry once Once when he ults once or twice, it's pretty much a game over for most of the time for the other team. So the optimal investment here is Rowan, Hendrik, Isold, Silas, and Pharrell. Yeah, I usually replace Rowan and Hendrik. I usually have Nara, and I have Damon in this comp as well, just to have a full 5 factional bonus. In the multi-team fight, you have Nara, like I just mentioned. And in the budget, you have Brutus, Leica, Rowan, and Tassie down here. You have the Isold cheese. Once we get Isold to work, it can definitely do a good job here. Next one, definitely one of the most powerful comps here, the Ainz comp. The game plan is simply to stall for Ainz until he ults, and his ability, the Goal of Life is Death, activates, half healthing and stunning all enemies, so his following ult has less health to burn through. Yep, you just have to stall Ainz until Ainz ults. 2 heroes that do very well in this comp, Arthur and Albedo, since they both can stall, and also Rowan as well for the energy. As you can see right here, those are 4 of the 5 heroes in optimal investment, along with Zafrael on the bottom here. And then in the multi-fight, you have Nara and Ezio. In the budget, you have Brutus, Rowan, Pharrell, and Tassie, along with Ainz down here. In this team comp, I usually have all dimensionals. I have Albedo, Ezio, Ainz, Yukio, and Nagaruru, and they most of the time do a great job at taking down the enemy comps. So yeah, Ainz comp definitely a good one. Ainz definitely good hero to garrison if you don't have him. You can garrison him if you want. Right now I probably wouldn't do it because Prince is the newest dimensional and you can still get Prince. I would save up your resources to try and get Prince if you feel like you have a chance at getting him at least. So yeah, there's the Ainz comp right there. Next one, the Burst comp here. A fast-paced team oriented around winning before 20 seconds have passed. The formation uses heroes with strong early damage and CC to chain high damage and strong control to a point where enemies can rarely use their own skills before dying. So the optimal investment here has Iran, Lorzen, Zolrath, Gwen, and Leica. Yeah, this one's based around Leica, because Leica has the haste ability, which is very useful. In the multi-fight here, you have Saurus. And yeah, you have Saurus in place of Gwyneth. That's pretty much the only change in the multi-fight. In the budget here, you have Estrilda, Sophia. Yeah, those are the only 2 heroes there that have changed between the other 2. You have the Burst comp, pretty good at haste there, and not getting enemy heroes to ult. Pretty much the purpose of the Burst comp there. Next one down here is the 5-pole. 5-pole is based around utilizing Scry's 3 of 9 furniture effect along with Iron in the back middle to pull all 5 enemies together. This grouping allows for heroes with effective AoE control and damage to excel in situations which usually would rarely occur. So yeah, this one is Scry's 3 of 9, which if you don't know what that is, it's his ability where Scryth can pull the back line 2 enemies on the top and bottom together towards the middle, which then with Iron can then pull all 5 enemies on the enemy side together at the beginning of the battle, which makes it very useful. The optimal investment here is Leica, Scryf, Sophia, Iron, and Titus. This is the optimal investment for the 5-pole. And this is the team formation I use for the 5-pole as well. Then multi-fight here is Gorvo. It has Gorvo in place of Leica. And then in the budget comp you have Brutus as well. Brutus and Rowan in the front line. You have the 5-pole, definitely a pretty good comp. I don't see it much used in chapter 36 really. So yeah, it kind of fades out at end game pretty much. And the Damon comp here is the next one. This team aims to enable Damon to stack blood shields until he's stolen enough stats to snowball into a victory, which is enabled by his high percentage based abilities that make use of high enemy stats. So this one is based around Damon. Optimal investment: Anna, Damon, Pharrell, Rowan, and Tassie. Anna making Damon invincible, giving Damon time to ult, and uses blood shields. The multi-fight has Mezoth, Brutus, and Nara. 3 new heroes to this in the multi-fight. And the budget one here, you have Rowan, you have also Namora, and Nara in the middle there. You have pretty much just giving Damon time to ult. And then you have next one here, you have the Khazard Wilders. Originating from the Chinese servers, this team is rising in use among the Western players quite rapidly due to its extremely high amounts of CC and lack of core heroes from other formations usually in play. So this one based around Khazard. Optimal investments here are Saurus, Scorvo, Khazard, Tassie, and Pippa. Yep, Khazard Wilders, so they're going to include Wilders in there as well. The multi-fight, you have Wukong and Mahira here. And in the budget, you have Rowan and Leica here. You have the Khazard Wilders comp. I haven't really used that comp. I don't have Khazard Ascended or anything. And here you have the Stall comp. Another PvP team which with overlap into PvE. Stall is based around the same concept as it always has been. Use healers and tanks to slow down the fight until heroes ramp up and chip away at enemies. So yeah, just stalling until you pretty much win. Now optimal investment, you have Mezoth, Taylene, Zafrael, Flora, and Orthos. The multi-fight here, you have Gorvo and Wukong here, and Pharrell as well. In the budget, you have Thorin in here as well, and Damon. So yeah, the stall comp. And this one here, the Portal Party, piloted primarily by AIM, but others have adapted it and seen high levels of success. This team revolves around the 2 portal heroes of Odin and Pippa who manipulate enemy positions into a grouping. This team has yet to be adapted into the meta. So yeah, this one includes Odin and Pippa. Optimal investment here, Gorvo, Tassie, Odin, Namora, and Pippa as the optimal investment. From what I've seen, it's a pretty good comp. I have not used it myself. In the multi-fight, you have Orthos, and you have just pretty much Orthos in place of Namora. In the budget comp, you have Rowan and Iran as well. Now this one's it's just teleporting the enemies around, and then eventually you'll win. Again, I've not really used this comp here. Then you have a standard Iran comp here. This team hasn't evolved much in the past year, still utilizing the core of Iran, Tassie, and Rowan to output heavy levels of CC onto the entire enemy team. This formation allows players of wilder focus early game to excel especially. The rest of the team is usually focused on following up or enhancing the CC provided within budget options, as at this point your hero pool is rather limited. So yeah, example team here, Rowan, Tassie, Sophia, Iran, and Leica. This team does pretty good as a standard Iran comp there. And then finally here, the standard Damon comp. Since the meteoric rise of Graveborns, a team focused around them with Damon as the carry was inevitable. This team is centered towards those who use most of their faction investment into Graveborn options by using the Staller and Disruptive faction to enable Damon to carry. This team doesn't have a standard form, as is usually just built similarly to the end game team with less tools and geared towards single fights. So the example team for this one is Brutus, Rowan, Pharrell, Nara, and Damon as the standard Damon comp. So yeah, those are the team formations I wanted to go through. Thanks again to Artie's guide to endgame PvE formations. Thanks to Artie to making this guide here. I did not make this guide, it was Artie's, so gotta give credit where it's due here. So thank you guys for watching. If you haven't already, subscribe, like, and comment any AFK Arena related video ideas, and I might do them in the future. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. See you later.